The stars over the Mir expanse were dying. Admiral Kellner of the Velith Union watched it happen in real time as tactical hololiths flickered across the command chamber of the flagship Silent Resolve. One by one, friendly icons vanished, ships reduced to expanding clouds of debris, crews extinguished before distress calls could finish transmitting. The devouring swarm had come. They always did, eventually. An extragalactic force of biomechanical entities, the swarm did not conquer. It consumed. Worlds were stripped to bedrock, atmospheres siphoned away, oceans boiled into nothing. Entire civilizations vanished so completely that even their ruins were eaten. The Velith Union had held them for 3 years. That was longer than most. Outer defense line has collapsed, an officer said quietly. No reinforcements remain. Kellner's 4 eyes dimmed. And the coalition? The officer hesitated. The coalition fleets have withdrawn. Casualties exceeded acceptable projections. In other words, the galaxy had decided the Velith were no longer worth saving. Kellner turned his gaze to the viewport. Below, the emerald world of Velith Prime glowed softly, cities alive with unaware billions. Families. Hatchlings. Histories stretching back 10,000 cycles. All evacuation routes, he asked. Compromised, came the answer. The swarm is accelerating. Planetfall in 12 standard hours. Silence filled the chamber. 12 hours until extinction. Kellner straightened his uniform, ancient and ceremonial now. Open a channel. Broadcast to all remaining ships and ground cities. The channel opened. This is Admiral Kellner, he said, voice steady despite the weight crushing his chest. We have fought with honor. We have bled for the Union and for the galaxy that now abandons us. He paused, choosing his words carefully. We will not surrender. We will buy time. For however long we can. The transmission ended. Officers bowed their heads. Some clasped hands in final gestures of kinship. Others simply stared at their stations, knowing they would not leave them alive. Then an alarm chimed, soft, confused. Admiral, a sensor tech said slowly, we're detecting arrivals. Kellner turned sharply. The swarm? No. Unknown warp signatures. Multiple. Hundreds. Hope flickered and was immediately smothered by realism. Another scavenger force, then. They come to watch us die. The stars twisted. Space itself seemed to tear open. Where graceful hyperspace transitions normally bloomed, these arrivals punched through reality like wounds. Massive silhouettes emerged, blocky, brutal ships covered in scars, external armor layered upon armor. No elegant curves. No luminous markings. Just raw, utilitarian menace. The tactical computer struggled to classify them. Ship registry unknown, the officer reported. Weapons output, by the void. Admiral, their power signatures are off the scale. A single transmission cut through all channels, clear, unencrypted, unmistakably artificial in tone. Velith Union forces, this is the United Terran Emergency Response Fleet. Kellner froze. Humans. The youngest spacefaring species. Deathworlders from a high-gravity planet with unstable tectonics, violent weather systems, and a biosphere that actively tried to kill them. They were known for stubbornness, endurance, and terrifying close-quarters warfare. They were also known for one thing above all else. They never arrived first. They arrived last. This sector is under extinction level threat, the human voice continued. We are assuming operational command of the battlefield. If you can still fight, hold your positions. Kellner found his voice. Terran fleet, this is Admiral Kellner. With respect, you should withdraw. The swarm cannot be stopped. There was a brief pause. Then the human replied calmly, almost gently. We know. Another pause. That's why we're here. Before Kellner could respond, the human ships moved. They did not form neat formations. They spread out, interlocking, overlapping, creating layers of fire zones so dense they resembled a three-dimensional minefield. Massive cannons rotated into position, charging with energies so compressed they distorted light around them. Human vessels are opening fire, an officer shouted. The first volley tore into the swarm. Entire clusters of biomechanical ships disintegrated, their adaptive hulls unable to compensate fast enough. Kinetic rounds punched through living armor, followed by plasma saturation that burned out regenerative cores. The swarm reacted instantly, redirecting forces, adapting weapons, flooding the area with counterfire. The humans didn't retreat. They advanced. This is madness, Kellner whispered. On the hololith, smaller human craft detached from the main fleet, dropships, assault pods, ramming vessels. They plunged straight into the densest concentrations of swarm units. Admiral, an officer said in disbelief, they're boarding them. Boarding the swarm was considered suicide. The interiors were hostile, corrosive, filled with autonomous defenders. The human transmission continued, now layered with dozens of voices, commanders, squad leaders, soldiers. Doomworlder teams deploying. Atmospheric breach confirmed. Contact with hostiles, close range. Keep moving. Kellner watched as sensor feeds, somehow shared without request, flickered into existence. Grainy helmet cam footage showed humans fighting inside living corridors, armor scarred, movements relentless. When one fell, another stepped over them. When ammunition ran out, they used blades. When blades broke, they used their hands. Why? Kellner whispered. Why would they do this for us? The answer came from a different human channel, quieter, older. Because if we don't stop them here, the voice said, they'll reach Earth. The swarm shifted tactics. A massive bioconstruct emerged, a command organism larger than any ship present. Its gravitational field warped nearby space. Energy built within it, preparing a system-killing discharge aimed directly at Velith Prime. Planetary annihilation imminent, an officer cried. The human response was immediate. One ship broke formation. It was enormous, scarred, asymmetrical, its hull patched with different alloys from different eras. Its engines flared far beyond safe limits as it accelerated straight toward the bioconstruct. Terran vessel, abort. Kellner shouted. You won't survive that blast. The human captain replied, voice steady. We're not supposed to. The ship rammed the swarm construct at relativistic speed. The explosion was blinding, a miniature star blooming in the void. The bioconstruct collapsed inward, its energy discharge snuffed out before release. Shockwaves rippled across the battlefield, tearing swarm formations apart. The human ship ceased to exist. 4-3 heartbeats, the battlefield went silent. Then the remaining human fleet surged forward. They fought for 6 hours. When it was over, The swarm was gone, shattered, retreating into intergalactic darkness for the first time in recorded history. Velith Prime still shone below. Alive. Kellner stood trembling, surrounded by stunned officers. He opened a channel to the Terran fleet. "This is Admiral Kellner," he said, voice thick. "On behalf of the Velith Union, we owe you everything. How can we repay such a debt?" The reply came after a moment. "You don't," the human said. "Just remember what you saw here." Kellner lowered his head. Across the galaxy, the story spread quickly of the day the swarm was stopped, not by ancient empires or advanced technology, but by a species from a world so hostile it forged monsters who refused to let others die alone. And whenever future civilizations faced extinction and cried out into the void, historians would whisper the same truth. When all hope was gone, humanity's Doomworlders appeared.